Hold on. Do you hear the cat? Did you hear the cat?
Yes, I did. I did.
Ugh. Where is it?
Where's the cat?
Literally, as we're about to start recording.
I think I can edit this out later.
Get out of here. Go.
That is hilarious. Go piss off, Luca.
Oh, good. I'm all sparkly.
Welcome to our very first video. God, we're such fucking amateurs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And I'm like, what the hell is that? Piss off. Go away. Go away. All right. I think I can edit this out later. So I'm just going to pretend that we can. And if we can't, then it'll be that much funnier.
Oh. Maybe. All right.
Lean back a bit.
Reposition here since. So yeah, that cat just. Damn it! I don't think you ever saw that cat. Maybe once when you were here. Oh God. Okay. Of course, now everything's like.
Can you turn the light around? Maybe.
I'm bounce up.
It's just washing. You
no.
Like, so bad.
Well, I can. Damn this freaking microphone's standing in the way. Oh. Okay.
Oh, that's better. I don't know what you did, but that's better.
I angled it up more.
Okay, good.
Part of that was now my monitor's all low. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts.
See, what I don't know is if I push end broadcast, what will happen. But I think I should be able to edit this out later. So I'm just gonna make a note that it's at 1 minute and it'll be 2 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna go in 3, 2, and we are live. If you're into the market for a new PC, don't rule out the Mini PC. A Mini PC is everything you would find in a normal computer tower, but shrunk down into a box that's about the size of a paperback novel. Mini PCs aren't necessarily underpowered, though. Some Mini PCs can actually be used for graphics work, sound design, and even gaming. Our friends over at Geekom reached out to see if we wanted to take a look at one of its Mini PC offerings, and Cliff is here to tell us all about it. Cliff, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. I've got a tiny little PC that I can review with you, and you'll be able to show off the ins and outs of it, literally. And
I will.
That's
I will.
Right.
And actually, that's a real good intro for me to give my disclaimer. Now, I want to make very clear that this is a Mini PC. The review unit that Cliff has came to us from Geekom for the podcast. But separately, I also received a review unit for Slash Gear. These are two different computers that came at two different times from actually two different PR people. So my review is due out next week at Slash Gear. But Cliff has had his unit for weeks now, so he's ready to share some thoughts. But the review unit that's actually going to be on the review cam is the one that I received, and I think in some way that clears me from any wrongdoing. So I just wanted to make it clear that this was, this is a totally separate arrangement. It actually just kind of worked out I had one at the same time.
We'll just put a giant asterisk next to your content, and it'll be fine.
Do I need to add an asterisk to the review cam label there? Let's do that. Review cam. And let's just do bang. Okay, there we go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce the review cam. And by the way, I'm not sure if I pronounced the company's name correctly. I'm calling it Geekom, but it's Geekom. So pronounce that however you will.
I've been pronouncing it Geekom. It could be Geekom.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which is which.
So here's the name. You can see it right there.
Yeah,
that's very,
how you
very
want to.
subtle branding on the top of the computer there. So, so this is the Mini PC. Cliff, why don't you go ahead and just tell us all about it, and I'll hand model this.
Yeah, you'll be the hand model for us. Yeah. So, as you said, I received this weeks ago, and I've had some hands-on time with it, and some time to put it through its paces. As you can see, just from Adam putting his hands there, maybe for some wonderful notification sounds.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Don't worry about that. Just keep going.
Oh, I'm not worried about it at
all. Push through! Push through!
Push through it! We can do this! Yeah, so as you can see from Adam's phone for
size reference.
I guess you can call it a side reference, and also his hands that he's modeling there.
Mm-hmm.
Although maybe those are a little
I'm
closer
having
to
I'm
the
having too
camera.
much fun with this.
I know. Well, it's the first time that we've really got a chance to use the review cam, so this is
There we go.
good practice for both of us, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and this is, I think, the first time I've done a live review in a long time, especially of a computer where we actually have it, and the first time we've had it like in front of us where we can actually show it off. It's kind of hard to do this with a laptop, especially if you've got a one that's larger
Right.
because it doesn't. It's going to take up the whole screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Geekom or Geekom sent this to us, and as like I was saying, it's basically 4.5 by 4.5. It's a little bit less and a little bit more as far as the width is concerned. Ah, there it is.
Yeah,
4.6.
so
I think it's
4.6
4.4.
by 4.4,
4.4. Perfect.
and then 1.8 tall.
1.8 tall without the little feet.
Yeah, 1.95 if you include the feet.
Exactly.
We should call this caliper cam.
It's actually a pretty that
We're
kind
gonna
of
need
works.
names for these things. I think we're gonna need names for review cam and for Mr. Caliper. So
So
start thinking about those in the comments.
oh, maybe we could get them sponsored.
We could.
Yeah. Review cam brought to you by Audible. No, it's not this week, but
It is not.
yeah, just hypothetically, we're throwing that out there. Audible, we
Right.
love you. We can
Yep.
maybe get you as a
Yeah,
sponsor.
absolutely.
So normally when you see, or at least I've seen, a PC like this, if it's in someone's home, usually I see it used as like a home theater PC.
Mhm.
If it's used out in the wild, maybe in a business, it's usually for something like a point of sale display, or if
Yeah.
they're running like something on a TV that's mounted on a wall, because this is VESA mountable, which is really nice. As you
Mhm.
can,
We will talk about that in a little bit.
yeah, absolutely,
That's in the
and
show notes.
amongst other things. So yeah, just from what you saw from the dimensions there, it is very small. I can actually also hold up mine so you can kind of
Yeah.
see right there on my face. For such a small PC, it's got a ton of ports.
Yeah.
I think we actually mentioned on our first, I guess you'd call it like our return video podcast.
Yeah, let's go
Uh,
through it now though.
right, exactly. So I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna have it on the same side as you.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
so
put
you,
on my old man glasses here. So
yeah, there you go. So you've got USB-C, which I believe is
yeah.
USB 3 for
Yep.
both, and also a USB-A that is at least 3 because it's got the little blue marking on the inside. Your
Yep.
headphone and microphone port, and the power jack.
That is the power button right there. So
Exactly.
rotate, not a whole lot here.
Yeah, this is that is the
The lock.
Kensington lock, I believe, is
Yep.
what that's actually called. So if you
And
have this on your desktop, that you
yeah.
can buy a little lock, almost like a tiny bike lock, to keep someone from walking off with it.
And then just to skip forward a little bit, we have a vent on this side and a vent on this side and a vent on the back. So
Right.
tons of airflow here.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
It in not to jump too far ahead, but because
Yeah.
of that, I think they call it a smart quiet fan, which I'm guessing that has something to do with the temperature sensor inside and being,
Yeah,
so it's
probably.
not just blasting off all the time. But in my experience, it was pretty quiet. But we'll go back to the ports. So on the back, you've got two
Mhm.
USB-A 3 ports.
Yeah,
You
here.
see there in the blue. To the right, you've got again another USB-C port and an
Mhm.
HDMI full size out.
Yep.
Little skipping to your left, you've got an RJ45 or Ethernet port, which is
Mhm.
really nice to have. And then I believe that's a mini display port.
It is. Yes, it is.
And then
The barrel
on the far, yeah,
plug.
your barrel charger, which it does say 19 volts, which that's not bad. That's not a
Yeah.
huge power draw. And the reason that it's not a huge power draw, if we want to actually talk about the internals, but
Yeah.
before I say that, we do. I don't know if you.
We do have one more side.
Yeah, one more side, and that does have a full size SD card reader.
Which is, I
So,
mean, you wouldn't expect to see that in a mini PC.
well, so here's my thought on that: is if you wanted
Okay.
to, instead of offloading stuff over a network, like
Mm,
media as an example, you could just throw it onto an SD card and drop
very
it right
true.
on the side. Going back to how this could be really useful as a home theater PC.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
Right,
And it's
right,
cool because you've got the USB-A and USB-C on the front, along with the headphone jack. There's no internal, there's no built-in speakers.
right.
So you need a headphone jack, or you need some type of audio
For audio
device, like
output, or
a third. Yeah,
you could do Bluetooth, because I
you
believe
can do
it's
Bluetooth. Yeah.
right, which is
Um,
probably the best way to go
yeah.
with a setup like this, since it doesn't have like a RCA out or something, like, something that's a little more
Right. Right.
tailored by itself for being a home theater PC. I keep coming back to that because with it being VESA mountable, with the size,
Hmm.
um, and we'll talk about now why I was going to say that it's pretty quiet. There's nothing
It
worse than
is.
being in your home theater and you've spent money soundproofing the walls and you're isolated and you've perfected the sound positioning and you just got this PC, in your home theater tower going
Right.
creating white noise. This will not do that as long as you're probably not pushing 8K video or something like that. Although I don't even know if it's capable of
Okay.
pushing that.
I want to go ahead and throw it over to you and give you a little bit of free reign on the
Sure.
microphone to talk about just overall impressions using the PC. While you do that, I'm going to mute myself, and I've got Mr. Drill here, so we're
Nice.
going to open this puppy up, and I just don't want you to be here like the while you're doing that. So
Oh, everyone loves hearing the sound of a drill. What are you talking about?
I get
The
that,
world's
but
worst ASMR.
so yeah, right. So I'm going to toss it over to you, and I'll have this open in like probably a minute. So
Okay,
go.
sounds good. Yeah, so overall impressions. I mean, at its core, if you ignore the fact that it's a small PC and you just have it hooked up to a display, you're going to find a very bone stock build or version of Windows 11 Pro. I think I can't remember if it had any extra software, but I don't think so. Even from Geekom, that would be taking up storage space. So that's really nice. The fact that it actually comes with Windows 11 Pro as standard is awesome. I mean, for enterprise stuff, that might not make a whole lot of sense, but management is management, especially if you're managing it over a home network. So one thing I wanted to mention is that this does have a quad core processor, which is really important if you're doing any kind of work, and it's also the reason that you can have Windows 11 on this. So that's really nice. It is Windows 11 proof, future proof. So it's got a Intel Coffee Lake. That's the 8th generation Core i5. It's an 8259U, which if memory serve basically makes me think that this is, I believe that's an ultra low voltage processor, something that's similar to something that you'd find in an Ultrabook. And then it has Intel's Iris Plus graphics, the 655. I did want to just check and make sure because in my experience, it was fine, but it does support hardware decoding of video, which is really getting it if you're using this as a home theater PC.
Okay.
And Adam has got it open.
Yes.
And so this is really what makes this home theater PC so cool. Not the fact that well, I mean, so it's what, 4 Phillips head screws, right?
So it's four Phillips head screws. The screws do not come out, so like
the retaining screws.
Yeah, they've got retaining bolts right here. You can see. And
that's actually really nice. When you open it up, your screws aren't just falling off, and you're having to keep track of those.
Okay, so as you can see here, this is your SSD drive here. This is a specifically a Kingston 512 gig.
And the fact they actually shout out that they use Kingston RAM in the press kits. So that's not just sometimes when you open up a laptop or something like that, and you've opened up a model that was built 6 months later, the RAM brands might be different because they just shop those RAM, but they specifically shout out the fact that they're using Kingston RAM here. So.
Right now, it should be mentioned that I believe some of the units that you can buy do not come with a hard drive. Although actually, I'm looking at Amazon right now, and it's either 256 or 512. So I guess I guess the ones that you buy on Amazon do come with them. I thought I saw somewhere in the reviewers.
So they're offering a bare bones version of it.
I thought I saw that they were.
Okay.
But anyway, it's very easily replaceable. There's a single Phillips head screw here,
right?
And then it just kind of
pops
out. So
yeah, it's an M.2 SSD. So really something that's popular and easily found, accessible if you go, Amazon, or if you go to like a Crucial or something like that. Not a sponsor, but so it easy to upgrade the SSD in it and the RAM.
Yeah, and I believe this is 16 gigabytes of RAM. I thought it was 8, but I believe
it is 16 gigabytes of RAM. I think in both of the models that we received, and then it supports up to 32 gigabytes of RAM.
Well, yeah, and I was going to point out there's it's kind of hard to see, but there's actually an extra slot here that's empty. So I mean, it would be super easy
and cheap compared to having to buy a 32 gigabyte DIMM. So
it would be very easy to do, and like these are just retaining clips here, and I mean it would be very easy to just take this thing apart right now. I'm not going to do that because but anyway, And then, but I mean, yeah, that's as far as you want to go into this. There's also like there are other layers beyond here. There's the fan that we talked about underneath the circuit board and all that. So, but that's as far as I want to go with my electric screwdriver on Mister Review Cam. So,
But I mean, I think just in taking off the bottom there, right, that it shows you how easily accessible it is to
yeah,
access most of the things that you're going to want to be that you're going to think about upgrading right out of the box if you're not happy with the storage that comes with it. But here's
exactly.
something else that's cool. If you actually pop off the motherboard, it does have more expansion available in that you can add a 2.5-inch SSD or mechanical hard drive from a laptop.
Ah, okay,
So you
cool.
can have the M.2 SSD that is already pre-installed, and then add additional storage up to 2 terabytes.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
I
that's
mean,
that's not nothing. I mean, that's crazy.
right, exactly. And if you think about the fact that you've also got the SSD, or I'm sorry, you've got the SD card slot on the outside.
Oh,
I
you know
mean, you've
what?
got a lot of options.
You know what? I just realized that's what this tray is for. This is where
Oh, that's the
you don't
mounting
even have to
tray.
take off the motherboard. It slides in right here.
Yeah, that's the power cable right there that go into it.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, so that slots in and it
Yep,
plugs into the power
super
down
easy.
here. So, yeah, this is like super easy to upgrade. I mean, if you want
I
to
was
buy
I was
just
looking at the exploded view, and I didn't realize think about the fact that this is basically upside down.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
this
you're
is
right.
upside down. So but yeah, so that's really cool. I'm like, I when I first took this off, I was kind of like, what is this? But then I realized, yeah, that's exactly the
I mean,
size of a
honestly, like,
drive.
most laptops, which is most of what we review here, I don't have you reviewed a desktop PC until now?
I have not reviewed a desktop PC on this podcast. And
Right.
actually, I now that you mention it, I don't think I ever have. Now that you
So, I mean, honestly, you just don't see 2.5-inch
Mm,
laptop hard drives anymore unless you get like a gaming laptop that has a secondary drive, or you're getting a really
right.
cheap I wouldn't even say a Chromebook because that's going to have just like a 32 gigabyte, like
Yeah.
onboard. Yeah, something from like Walmart that costs like $300. Nothing
So
wrong with that, but it's just not as common as it used to be.
I'm gonna go ahead and pop this back on here.
Okay.
Because we gotta talk about a few
And,
other
and
things.
again, it's four Phillips head
4
screwdrivers.
screws,
It's
yeah.
not even like a torque screw or something like that. So you can open this up with just like Adam did there with your something you have in your junk drawer if you just have a Phillips head screwdriver or your electric screwdriver like he
And
used.
I'm muting again.
Okay. So this is also VESA mountable. So I actually want to talk about some of the stuff that comes in the box. First of all, like I said, it's VESA mountable, which means you can mount it on the back of most monitors. They have that, and if you've never done that before, just look in your box. You'll probably find some screws in there,
And
and it's
spoiler alert, we're gonna show that off too.
oh, that's
So
right. Yeah, I
yep.
shouldn't jump the shark there. And it also the thing that I thought was cool, although I kind of think of it as being hilarious, also that it comes with a carrying bag.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, that's really nice. It's a nice touch. I mean, not really the accessories that it came with, maybe Adam's gonna kind of bring the box, but it was first of all really nicely packaged.
I don't know if I put
Um,
everything back in the box to be honest.
I've
Nope,
got
I
actually,
didn't.
you know what? I've got mine right here as well.
There
So
you go. I don't know where I
and
put that carrying bag.
but the fact that it came with a carrying bag, I thought was both hilarious, but also, I mean, it's a nice touch.
It's a nice touch.
I
Yeah.
just, okay, so if you were gonna carry this, I guess maybe you want to maybe you do like hook it up to a projector or something like that and use it for presentations if you
Mhm.
also have like a separate laptop or something like that. I really can't think of the use case. I'm sure that someone out there can easily think of a use case, and if you do think of a good reason for that, just leave a comment. That's
Yeah.
actually something we would love to hear back from you if you have any
Absolutely.
questions for us. Okay, so here
Also, while you're
is
while you're mentioning it, you mentioned the projectors. This actually supports up to 4
four
displays.
displays.
So,
I think it was up to four displays at
yeah.
4K at 60 frames per second. Is that right?
Some I don't know if was it 60?
You know what? That might be two, but it does support up to four displays.
Yeah, and now obviously, there's only 2 display outs here. They've got the mini
Well,
DP.
you've got
Sorry.
dedicated display outs with the mini DVI or mini display port and then
Yeah, that's what
HDMI, but then you've also got
HDMI.
multiple USB-C ports, which
Right. So you could potentially hook up like a what's that called? We had one on the show.
like a
Damn it.
hub,
Like a hub, yeah, like for
a hub
displays, like a
or
multiple
right,
display. Yeah.
exactly. I mean, right now I've got a docking station with a USB-C to HDMI, so they make
Yeah. Yeah.
cables with that adapter built in. So yeah, I did want to show you. So I've got the box open here,
Okay.
and it does come with.
The
Wanted to see how
carrying
this would
bag.
be on the green screen. I thought I knew it would do something like that.
Yep.
Green screen plus camera. Not happy with that. Since it's black, but then it also comes with a VESA mounting kit, which you will
Okay.
show us later. So,
Yep.
and your just so we see what else is in the box, the Geekom manual.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to show off that VESA mount?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So while Cliff was talking, I don't know if you noticed, but there were 2 additional screws that I put onto the back here. If I turn it to the side, you can see that they stick out right here and right here. And these are just mounting pegs. They screw into the back of the machine. Now you can't leave them in because when you do, the mini PC is unstable.
Right.
But it also comes with a back plate that you can attach to the back of your monitor that has a VESA mount, and that will bring you to review cam part 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and kill review cam here, and let me just show you how
You
this
weren't
is gonna
expecting
work.
a second review cam, were you?
So I'm
Listen,
gonna be turning away from the mic. So Cliff, you're gonna have to do the talking here.
Oh boy. This is something I have never done. I've had Chrome boxes that were also VESA mountable that were considerably larger than this, but yep. So you can see as Adam's putting it on there, that's exactly how it mounts to the back. And really what you're doing there is you're giving yourself, and it just slots on there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually really nice. You don't even have to screw it on there. And that's actually that same adapter is how, if you buy a swing arm, for example, for your monitor, it mounts to that same part on the back there. Yeah. So you got access to your ports. I mean, basically, what you've got there is a home built iPad, or I'm sorry, iMac.
Yeah, like with an all-in-one PC.
All-in-one PC, exactly.
Is the generic term for it.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave that over here because we're going to start wrapping things up. But
I did want to mention also, since we were talking about, both using it in the form that you have there, but also as a home theater PC, it does support gigabit Ethernet, which is nice.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if it supported Wi-Fi 6, and I don't think it does.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. Unfortunately,
well, it's going to be more because it's a system on a chip, right? So it's going to be whatever Intel has that's supported as far as what's integrated into it. I believe. I mean,
very true.
Anyway, so even if I know it's going to support at least Wi-Fi 5, so it's going to be more than enough for, I would say, especially if you don't have a whole lot of people operating on your network at the same time, it's more than enough to stream 4K video. So
yeah, so what I've been using it for is I actually have this connected to a TV in my office, and so I've been trying to slowly adopt the ways of the standing desk. So since everything that I do is in the cloud, it's really convenient for me to just have a second PC set up over there where I can get up, go stand over there for like 5 minutes, and then come back over and sit back down and get back to work. So that's primarily what I've been using it for. I also was able to set it up as like a secondary workstation in my sunroom before I remembered that I live in Chicago and it's cold as hell outside now. But for now, that's what I'm going to be using it for. And I haven't done like Photoshop or anything like that on it yet. I will by next week because that's when my reviews due. So
I can speak to that a little bit. So I've actually recorded this podcast when we were doing audio podcast. I recorded it on this machine, and I have done some audio editing on it, and I have done some light Photoshop work on it. I mean, the fact that it has 16 gigabytes of RAM, that it is a quad core chip. Now it doesn't have discrete graphics or anything like that, but for basic media editing and things like that, you certainly wouldn't want to render 4K video on it. I mean, you could, but it would take a while because this is, let's see, what, now 5 generations old as far as the processor, but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sounds like more than it is. I mean, trying to think, that would have been like 2018 era. But so still a pretty beefy little machine, especially um, for the size, and the fact that it's the old. And I think I've mentioned this before. The fact that it's an ultra low voltage processor means that number one, you don't have to have a giant wall wart
Right.
that you have to plug in, and two, it's going to run relatively cool.
Yeah,
With
this is just like a brick on a string, like what you'd
It
find with
really
a
is.
laptop.
It's
So
not bad at all. And
yeah.
to correct myself, or just to kind of add an add on there too, when I was talking about, we were talking about 4K displays. It does support that at 30 hertz. So
Okay.
probably not your best if you're trying to do some light gaming or something, but
Yeah.
TV is 24 frames per second, so it's fine for
Right.
that.
Right. Yeah, so but yeah, overall it's a fun little PC, and I'm glad that we had a chance to
Me too.
check it out here because like I said, this is a very phone centric YouTube channel
It
and
is.
podcast. But this kind of speaks to that portability and that I think that we're big fans of.
I mean, it's
So
absolutely mobile. It even has a bag that comes with it. So
right, right. I mean, the one thing about mini PCs is this is I would probably consider this more of like a kind of a media machine. Hook it up to your
right.
TV or something like that. And the one thing we haven't mentioned yet is the price. Right now,
Gonna
the
ask you that. Yeah.
as reviewed, ours goes for $450 on Amazon. There's also the 8 GB of RAM, 256
Hmm.
gigabyte hard drive model for 389. So that's even like cheaper.
So 70,
Um,
I was just trying to think, could you save? Would it be worth saving the money if you plan on upgrading it yourself for that? I
Probably
mean,
not.
probably not, because by the
Probably
time
not.
you add another
More
16
RAM
gigabytes of RAM or
and
more, yeah, you're probably going to be at that same place, and then you're going to have to do the work to install it. So, I
yeah,
mean, either of those is really a great value though. And I
yeah.
can tell you, I have a laptop as well that runs an 8th gen Core i5 at the probably if it's not the exact same Intel model number, it's something very similar,
Hmm.
and it's still a screaming little machine for most about everything you want to throw at it. And here's something else I thought about too. What this does come as it ships when you buy it, uh, with Windows 11 Pro,
Hmm.
but and this might be something that I actually try with it if Geekom doesn't mind. I will have to discuss that later. But and I can't remember do you remember what the Google's Chrome OS installation service is for? Basically, you can install it on third-party
No,
PCs.
no, I know what you're talking about, and I can't. The name escapes me.
Yeah, well, they had a code name for it, and when they like officially released it, they changed it, and so I can't recall it right now. But this would
See if you
make
can
a
install.
screaming little
Oh my god.
Chromebox.
Oh my god, that would be insane. Yeah,
16
absolutely.
gigabytes of RAM and quad core i5. I
Yeah,
mean, I would say this has got to be pretty similar in performance to like an 11th gen Core i3. So again,
probably pretty. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
for
So
most things. I mean, I'm not going to quote benchmarks or anything like that, but I
right.
mean, it would make an awesome little Chromebox, and so that might be something that I play around with, and maybe we'll do like a little follow up video or something, where just talk about it, if
We
nothing
can.
else.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can. Well,
for sure.
that's what doubting Thomas is for, right?
Exactly.
So we can do some follow up stuff on this, and see that's why you're going to get more from this channel than you're going to get from other channels because we go back and we revisit stuff. We keep using this
That's
stuff
true.
even after the review is
And,
done.
and I really do think, what I just talked about there in terms of, I don't really want to call it modding it. I mean, installing a different OS is not a big deal, right? But
Right.
if you look at the fact this is very just from you cracking it open, how accessible everything was, just
It's
right
super
there.
accessible. Yeah.
They obviously want to encourage you to add things to it. So in the spirit of that, I think just trying out different operating systems on it is something that you should do. In fact, you're almost obligated to.
Yeah. I'd say it's practically in the manual,
It
but
is.
it's not.
It's not.
Yeah. So at your own risk, folks. But all right. So we should go ahead and wrap things up here. Cliff, did you have any final thoughts that you wanted to share?
I like it, and I haven't used it in about a week, and I kind of want to hook it
Go
back
back
up
to it.
and start playing with it again. And now that I've got the idea, I was thinking about the Chrome OS thing on the way in here just to get set up, and I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea. Why didn't I think of that before the review?
Yeah. Well, and
But
actually, now that I've got a VESA mounted, I might just leave it on that monitor for a while.
yeah.
So,
Well, I
but
wanted to say that this is our first real like full review of our product for our YouTube channel. So I want to
mhm.
thank everybody that has supported us in the past,
Yep.
and for our new viewers, thank you for checking us out, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit
Mhm.
that bell, as they
Hit that
say.
bell. Smash that bell.
Smash it.
Don't just hit it. Smash it.
Smash it.
Smash it, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Please do consider subscribing. Consider subscribing to the audio podcast if you're into
Mm.
audio podcasts. We love putting those out as well. And yes, in the meantime, thank you for watching. Subscribe, smash that bell, and thank you for giving us the benefit of the doubt.